Boys, holy crap, Smilegate dropped a bomb on us. I'm gonna have to make two separate videos here. Let's go ahead and start with the surprise collab. They dropped the entire skill set. All the skills are revealed. Full animations, everything. We get to talk about them, look at them, and hope you've been saving your bookmarks. And then in the second video, guys, I'll cover Commander Pavel, ML Pavel, alongside the Magic Girl, DN skin, and whatever else they included in there. But holy crap, so much to talk about. Super hyped, super excited, a little worried on some things, very excited for others. But yeah, guys, let's get to it because we got so much to discuss. Alrighty, y'all, let's get to watching. So I got the videos loaded up here. Let's go ahead and start with Edward, then we'll move into Roy Mustang, and last but not least, Riza Hawkeye. So let's get started. First impression time. I'm so excited, guys. You need to watch FMA if you haven't already, okay? They drop a lot of skill names and minor spoilers, but still watch it. It's so good. I'm getting so nostalgic just hearing his voice. I might rewatch it myself.
Edward Elric.
Here we go. The Full Metal.
He's characterized by his golden hair and eyes, his bright red cloak, the automail, which has replaced his right arm and left leg, and his below average.
His below average, right?
He has an emotional complex about being shorter than
Oh, that's a great lobby
he
animation.
lost his left leg after attempting
I think that's the artifact art. Looks really good.
Then he lost his right arm.
Here's the skill 3, guys. Alphonse comes through.
His brother's soul onto a suit of armor. On a mission to restore their original bodies.
Walk animation looks okay.
His younger brother Alphonse have been traveling far.
Love that art. And there's Winry at the top. She's the one who makes his armor, actually, guys. Childhood friend. All right.
Edward Elric is a 5-star fire elemental warrior.
So let's pause real fast. We're gonna kind of breeze through this, not super quick. I'll make sure to take time to talk about all this stuff. But he's a fire warrior, Ares. He actually has really nice base speed, but otherwise all-rounded stats. Imprint is effect resist and crit chance. So guys, I called it. If you watched my last video on the collab stuff, Edward and Roy will be the paid characters, meaning you have to summon them. I don't really mean paid, but you guys know what I mean. You can still get them as free to play. And Riza will be the free unit that you get to triple S and Max Limit Breaker artifact for free. Edward, you will have to summon for, but if you want to get multiple copies, crit chance imprint is very nice, just a heads up. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the first skill here.
Skill 2. Equivalent exchange.
All right, equivalent exchange. By the way, the commentator's doing a great job. Every time he does it, I think he gets better and better. So after being attacked, when the caster has a debuff, dispels one debuff and activates Rise. Similar to Champion Zerato, not exactly the same, but it sort of has the same effect. Instead of transferring the skill, though, he just dispels himself and then gets a random debuff through these pre-selected ones here. Can only be activated once per turn, so also different. So we get a random debuff for 2 turns, guys, and we attack all enemies with ground thorns, dispelling 1 buff, which is really, really good. Could dispel that immunity, a barrier, attack up, whatever it might be. And the random debuff include decreased attack, decreased hit chance, provoke, silence, or restrict. All very nice. Restrict probably the most niche of the bunch, but in case you're fighting an aggro or cleave player, could be very, very impactful. The rest are very debilitating. All of these are lockdown debuffs that could definitely swing a match, sometimes even decide a match straight up. If you're fighting a cleaver, for example, just hitting one of these alone and maybe stripping attack up. And then, of course, don't forget, guys, it's very indicative that he is a bruiser, a HP scaling bruiser, okay? So all his stuff will most likely scale off his max health. So also take note of this, guys, this Rise ability. I believe this counts as an extra attack, and this is important because when we talk about his artifact later, I think this is the only thing that will proc it, but we'll talk more on that when we get to it. So let me fast forward, boys. I'm going to save us some time, and I want to watch the animation together with y'all.
Debuff for 2 turns.
Here we go.
Damage
so we get hit, we get debuffed,
max health.
and we land 3 attack downs and a provoke on the Dilibet. Okay, so I believe that was what, Para? Yeah, Para activated us, and we hit them back, do some okay damage, dispel, and then we hit them with some debuffs. Very nice.
The random debuff can be one of the following: decreased attack, decreased hit chance, provoke, silence, or restrict.
Okay.
Skill 3. I'll show you our
Here we go. Here's the skill 3. This is where he summons Alphonse. They even have it in the description. Increases combat readiness of the caster by 50%, which is huge. When the enemy's not a leader boss monster, yada yada. They just want to make sure you don't use this for PvE. Damage sharing effects are ignored. Okay, very nice. So we'll ignore Aureus. We'll ignore Para's Escort, for example. Seaside Bologna. Damage dealt increases proportional caster's max health, so HP scaling. And then every time the skill is used, it stacks up. So kind of like Sylvian, kind of like Last Rider Crow. I like that. He's going to want to stay in the field with his massive health, just not getting debuffed. Yeah, he cleanses himself from debuffs, debuffs his opponents, and then the more he skill 3s, he'll be able to single target nuke some units, and that's gonna get stronger and stronger. On top of that, guys, units like this that have a 10 soul minus 2 turn cooldown, so it's gonna be 4 turn cooldown after Mola. If he's one of our main carries, we really want to activate that first or second at least skill 3 with the 10 souls. That way we can just start spamming this out. Every other turn we're going to spam this out because we'll be on a 2-turn cooldown. Kind of interesting, kind of nice. I can't wait to see how much damage it's going to do, especially when we get to that third skill. But let's go ahead and look at the animation. I want to watch it again. We saw it in the intro, but it looks so good, guys. It looks so good. Here we go.
Damage
Let me see that Alphonse, baby.
The skill is used and can stack up to 3 times. When 10 soul is consumed,
little alley-oop, little dual attack.
2 turns. Skill
All right.
1.
Here we go. I'll take you on. Here's a skill 1. Attacks the enemy with a transmuted blade, which I like because that's, you know, very, very much in the anime. Grants a barrier to the caster for 1 turn, and then just HP scaling. So a very, very basic skill 1. It does grant a barrier though, which, by the way, I'm gonna skip forward, guys. I want to see the health of the barrier.
Barrier strength increased proportional to the caster.
So the commentator is saying the damage and the barrier health will scale off his max HP. And you know what? That's actually a pretty decent barrier. That's going to add a lot in his longevity. So on top of that, since he is a bruiser where I imagine you could use almost any set on him. You could go speed. I imagine you probably want pen set. I didn't see any inherent penetration on the skill 3. I'm just going to look real fast, guys. Yeah, it just ignores damage share. So pen set could be good for both the skill 1 and the skill 3. Won't affect the skill 2, of course. But let's see. So there's the barrier. Yeah, barrier looks good. Maybe counter set, could be speed set, maybe even destruction set. You could probably run almost anything you want on him. You could go crit set for the 2 set, pen set to enable that skill 3 and the skill 1, or even just immunity. Whatever you do, I think he's very versatile, and I like the overall style. I love HP scaling bruisers, and I think he has a good spot, you know, bullying out like Alencias, things like that. We just want to soul burn his skill 3 and continually spam it. He has some interesting effects. He might be good into anti-cleave, anti-aggro, anything that has a lot of debuffs. He could really, really interrupt your game plan, and you just bring some support for him, and he'll slowly just nuke down his opponents. I like the idea of it. I'm not sure how strong he'll be. I do think he'll be pretty strong, but probably not as strong as like Rimuru on release. They kind of strike me as similar, you know, single target, soul burnable skill 3s, but Rimu kind of just broke a few more rules than Edward does. Edward, I think, is a little more fair, a little more honest, but we'll have to see in the long run. Now, guys, let's get to the artifact because I think this is very interesting.
The artificial arm and leg that Winry created for
So I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, Winry created his armor. So here we go. Let me pause. We got the epic artifact. And remember, guys, I mentioned, did I say this already? Riza will be the free unit. So you'll be able to get her artifact when we get to her. And you'll be able to triple S her for free. But this one, boys, you will have to, if you want multiple copies, you'll have to summon a lot or spend a lot of powder. Actually, that's not true. You can only buy 1 copy of the artifact with powder, but you know what I mean. So at max limit break, meaning at 6 copies plus 30, we get 10 crit base, so that's no matter what at 0, or at plus 30, it's always 10 crit, but you get 8 crit damage at max and 8 speed, stacking up to 4 times. So 32% crit damage and speed at max. This screams, right? You want Edward to kind of, just like his skill 3, sit on the field for as long as possible and stack this up. Now, boys, I mentioned, make sure you take note of the passive. This only works for extra attacks. So his passive, I believe that's skill 2 where he counters and hits with the Briar Thorns. I think that counts as an extra attack, but I don't think dual attacks or like counter set will work for stacking up this arty. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, extra attack does not count for duels, and then counter set effects. Only his skill 2 passive will proc it, or things like Alencia's Trample, for example. Any other warriors, guys, that y'all can think of that have extra attacks? Let me know. So this could have huge potential for both him and Alencia, units like that can proc this extra attack, and if you can make it into an extended match, guys, 32 crit damage and 32% speed is huge. I like the idea of it. I don't know how impactful it'll be for our meta, because it does take some scaling, and the fact that it only procs off extra attacks makes it a little bit niche, kind of hard to pull off, especially getting up to 4 stacks, where I think that's really where you want it to be. But overall, I love the idea of it. I'll brainstorm more. Please, you out-of-the-box thinkers, let me know what you think about this arty. If you're already getting some crazy ideas, I'd love to hear it. All right, so overall, I really like this unit. I like him a lot as a bruiser. I'll definitely be pulling him. Might even triple S. We'll see. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on to the next unit, Roy Mustang. Dang, guys, oh man, I actually spent a lot of time talking about Edward. Let's go ahead and go to the next one real quick and open up Roy Mustang. This one I'm also very excited for, man. You guys gotta watch the anime to see why some of us are so hyped for him. Hold on, let's start from the beginning real quick. Here we go. Even in the alleyway. You see that snap, guys? Very similar to Fire Araminta. I think she was inspired by him.
Roy Mustang, an officer and a state alchemist with the title Flame.
The Flame Alchemist.
Using a pair of gloves that have transmutation circles sewn into the fabric, he creates a spark. And by manipulating the oxygen in the air, he turns that spark into flames.
Really cool skill 3 animation. What's your favorite so far, guys? This one or Edward's?
Commander, who's on his way to becoming the next fear.
Is that his artifact art? Looks good. All right, here we go. Let's talk about him.
Roy Mustang is a 5-star.
So guys, he is a fire mage just like Araminta, and he will have attack on both his imprint and his imprint concentration. Let's go ahead and scroll through, save some time here because we got so much to talk about. Roy Mustang skill 2. Here's the passive. Hero of Ishval. At the start of the first battle, gains 40 fighting spirit, so he's a fighting spirit unit. And this will grant him the Flame Alchemist passive, or Flame Alchemist buff. Damage suffered in one attack does not exceed 70%, which I believe this will go to 51%, guys, similar to Spirit Isoline and T-Surin. So Flame Alchemist increases hit chance and attack by 20%. That's a crazy good buff. Oh my god. Flame Alchemist cannot be dispelled unless attacked by an ice elemental enemy. So this is a really, really cool effect, guys, but if you get hit by an ice unit, we lose all of this. So take note of that. This is very important. It's going to be how we kind of revolve his skill set. Very powerful effect, but can be easily dispelled if your opponent brings anything with the ice element. All right, so I like it already. I think that's a good like risk versus reward sort of feature. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to click that. Let's go and look at the skill animation. So Hero of Ishval, this is his passive.
Flame Alchemist is a unique buff that increases hit chance and attack.
So he's fighting Shu here.
Flame Alchemist cannot be dispelled unless attacked by an ice elemental enemy.
So I think that did actually immediately dispel. Yeah, so Shu just hits him and he loses. Sorry, guys, I just want to double check here. So he has that passive in the beginning, guys, and as soon as Shu's skill 3s, he loses. So anytime just an ice unit hits him, he'll lose that passive buff. But it seems like he will have more than a few ways to activate it. Speaking of, let's go to the skill 3, Scorching Heat. After increasing attack of the caster for 2 turns, right? So he gives himself attack up. 2-turn attack up. He attacks all enemies, so AoE, and grants Flame Alchemist again. So his passive gives it to him at the start of the match or start of his turn, and then he'll also get it whenever he skill 3s in case he gets dispelled. And then it'll also do more damage even when there are less units. So if you start at 4, it does the normal amount of damage. As soon as there's 3 or less enemies, it starts scaling up, which is very, very nice. Gives him some closing potential, especially for like tankier units that are still alive. Let's watch the animation because this is just the same passive. Flame Alchemist. We'll watch it again, guys, in this alleyway.
Consecutive barrage of flames.
So there's the attack up, 2 turns.
To the caster. When there are 3 or fewer enemies,
that damage looks good too. That damage looks nice.
Skill 1, Ignite.
All right, so Ignite. Skill 1 attacks enemy with flames, which increases his combat readiness by 15% when used on the caster turn. So no dual attacks or counters will proc this. If the caster is granted that passive Flame Alchemist, the buff, activates Heat Wave instead of Ignite. And Heat Wave, isn't that the name of Araminta's passive? Heat Wave attacks enemies with a huge flame, increasing the combat readiness by 30%, so double what it is normally, and also adds 50% defense pen. Holy crap. And then Soul Burn effect is 20 souls. The skill does not trigger a dual attack. Wow, that's crazy. Also gives him 30 fighting spirit. Okay.
Attacks the enemy with flames and increases combat readiness of the caster by 15%.
So 30 fighting spirit.
The caster's turn. If the caster is granted flame,
look at that. He almost killed Violet
instead of Ignite. Heatwave attacks the enemy with a huge flame and increases the combat readiness of the caster by 30%. All right. Penetrates the target's defense by 50%, and the skill does not trigger.
Does not add any dual attacks. Okay.
When 20 soul is consumed, grants an extra turn.
And then we can get some extra souls or extra turns. Excuse me. Always nice. Before we move on to the artifact, guys, I want to look at the skill 3 again real fast. So that was the skill 1. Skill 3, Scorching Heat. So we need to get to 80 fighting spirit. We start the match with 40. And we get 30 per skill 1. Okay. I just want to do some quick math. I'll do more brainstorming on how effective this will be. But overall, I like his kit too. Just like Edwards, I really like both of these units. So he has some self-survivability, right? With that damage, you know, can't be dealt more than 51% of his damage. Let me scroll to his skill 2. I think it's the first one, yeah. So he can't suffer more than 51% damage. He also has increased hit chance base and attack 20% base with Flame Alchemist as long as it doesn't get dispelled. And he can get this back too if it does get dispelled from an ice unit when he does eventually skill 3. So our game plan is to just shoot out some skill 1s. Hopefully we bring him against non-ice units where he's going to do those boosted skill 1s. We even soul burn it for more turns, but we need to hit 2 skill 1s to unleash that really strong skill 3 that will scale when our opponents, you know, start dropping like flies, meaning it'll do more damage fighting like a solo Apocalypse Ravi. Sorry, I'm trying to find the skill 3 real quick. The Scorching Heat. All right, so with a high attack, he also gets some from imprints as well if you want to do that. Base increased hit chance as well. He can hit ice units, he can hit evasion units, he's going to do some good damage, and he's hard to kill as well. I really like him. Seems like he can be used in a lot of different comps. Aggressive players, tanky players. We'll see exactly how good he is. We need to watch out for ice units, though, because that'll kind of slow down our game plan. All right, let's talk up the artifact real fast. We got the Ignition Cloth Gloves. And this one, boys, is a very whale-centric artifact because 20% hit chance. Look at that. It's like a symbol of unity that also gives attack for mage exclusive. So I think this is just going to be straight up a very strong artifact for him. When he has the Flame Alchemist, he'll have 40% increased hit chance. Insane. Plus more attack. This is just like doubling the effect of his Flame Alchemist buff, his passive. So very cool. I think if you do want to get him, guys, I've been trying to tell y'all, I hope you've been saving bookmarks, as both this one and Edwards have some potential. This one is just straightforward, really good. We can use this on other mages as well. And also on top of that, if y'all really use Symbol of Unity a lot on a certain character, if you want to put that symbol on a mage instead, the problem is mage artifacts are really good. A lot of times we're already using like Target Health for the souls. But overall, I like this too. Man, I think I'm going to have to max this one as well, guys. I don't have enough bookmarks to go around. I'm going to have to start saving. All right, well, that's Roy Mustang. Let me know who you like better, guys, between Roy and Edward, because Riza's a free unit. Her kit is interesting. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about it right now, but these two are really the powerhouses, in my opinion. So let me know which one you guys like better. Let's move on to Riza Hawkeye. Okay, let me pull up Riza Hawkeye real fast, guys. I got the video right here, and let's start watching it. Oh, let me start from the beginning. Okay, here we go. Riza, the free unit. She's shooting the mouse, man. Why did they make her shoot a mouse? Alright, so Ice Ranger. Is this another Wyvern unit? Find out soon. Very good voice acting. That's expected, though, from the Japanese stuff. Alright, First Lieutenant.
She can always be found standing.
Yeah, her and Roy are very close.
Due to her exceptional skill with firearms, her cool demeanor, and her willingness to point out others' mistakes, she inspires trust and a little bit of fear.
So you got some headsets on in the passive? Or sorry, the lobby idle animation?
Hawkeye is a 5-star ice elemental.
Alright, so like I mentioned, or I keep mentioning, she's the free unit confirmed by Mashu. So she will actually, you can get her triple S immediately, boys. And her artifact most likely will also be able to max limit break plus 30 for free as well. So take note of that. You don't have to summon. We're all going to have her, so make sure you look at her kit because you all can build her up very easily.
Ranger. She has high effectiveness and can increase her critical hit chance through imprint concentration. Yeah, so the effectiveness is important because she's a very support style unit, which we're going to see here. I actually like her kit a lot more. She's my favorite free collab unit so far. To me, what was Shuna and Soul? Soul was okay, but Shuna and who was it? Ram? I didn't even build them up, guys. I didn't even bother. Soul I got a little bit use out of. Riza, though, you'll see here in a sec, guys. We'll look at it together. I really like her kit. Skill 2, Devoted Support. Okay,
so Devoted Support. This is a big wall of text for a free unit. When the foremost ally is attacked by a single attack, decreases damage suffered by 20, which is 30 after Mola. And when more than one damage reduction effect is granted, only the strongest, sure, it's always It's always the case. When the foremost ally's health is 50% or lower after being attacked, dispels all debuffs from the foremost ally and the caster, so herself and the unit in the front. And then she'll also grant Hawkeye to the caster. So she's a ranger, ice ranger, but she's very support oriented. It really is also lore friendly because she's always supporting Roy Mustang, but in this case we can put any unit in the front. We probably don't want to put Roy in the front. Maybe a tankier unit, probably. So she's going to give them decreased damage suffered by 30%, which is huge. And she'll also be able to one time, I believe it's one time ever, right? No, it can be actually activated once every 3 turns, so not like Roz's passive, but every 3 turns, which is probably not going to happen too often. She'll be able to do a full dispel of all debuffs for herself and the front unit, and grant Hawkeye, which gives herself speed and crit damage by 30%. This is only for her, but she'll dispel the front unit and give them damage reduction. Okay. Very nice kit. Very unique as well, guys. Cool support passive. And I think this is more PvP oriented. Maybe it has some PvE effects. She can still be using PvE, but yeah, this one seems like it's meant a little bit more for PvP, especially maybe things like Guild Wars Arena, potentially RTA. Let's look at it. They have a little animation here. So Hua Young hitting into our Senya. So guys, right, if you've been having trouble with Hua, how busted, how broken she is, Riza's going to reduce 30% damage.
Dispelling debuffs and Hawkeye's effects can only be activated once.
She cleanses those debuffs that were already active. I believe those were from Para, and now she gets Hawkeye for herself.
Every 3 turns.
Because she's below, Senya's below 50%. Cool.
Skill 3.
All right, here we go. Here's her skill 3. This is where she was shooting all the bullets at the mouse, the little mouse. Attacks the enemy with focus fire, dispelling all buffs. Wow. Dispel all buffs. And decreases, so it hits one unit, dispels all buffs, that which we can also ignore effect resist with 20 souls, and will decrease their combat rates by 50%, grant ourself immunity for 2 turns, and exploiting weak points to the caster of the foremost ally. I'm gonna double check on the actual skill. We'll see. Does she grant immunity to the front row unit as well? But exploiting weak points when attacking, increased damage dealt by 20%. After attacking, this effect is dispelled. So both herself and the front unit get a 20% damage one-time effect. Okay, pretty cool. And we can soul burn to remove all debuffs, as well as push back a significant amount, 50%.
All out.
I'm going to skip to the animation. I actually want to see this immunity, guys. So here's the animation.
Attacking, this effect is dispelled. When 20 soul is consumed, it ignores effect resistance.
She does give immunity to herself and the foremost ally. Very nice, very cool.
Skill 1.
And here's her skill 1. Stand back. So she fires her pistol with a, what is that, 10, 15, 50% effect chance. 50% chance to target them. So she'll have target. And when she's granted Hawkeye, which she can get from her passive, her skill 2, she increases the combat race of the foremost ally by 20%. Okay. Guys, so very, very right. You want to use her in tandem with a front row unit. They kind of work hand in hand. She reduces the damage reduction. If they do take too much damage, she's going to grant herself some buffs, full dispels, and then she has a skill 3, which can fully strip, skill pushback, and then provide immunity and some damage buffs. Very cool kit. Not super powerful by any means, but I think she can be used in PvE and PvP. Overall, like I said, I think she'll get more use than the other free collab units, guys. So for a free unit that we can triple S, she gets crit chance imprint. I think I'm definitely going to build her, and I think a lot of y'all should as well, because she has the best kit so far, in my opinion, for the free units.
Increases the combat readiness of the
Alright, skill 1 looks pretty basic.
20%.
But that target, the increased damage that she'll give Senya, or whoever you want to put in the front, damage reduction, immunity, a lot of buffs for herself. But I think you do need to build her a little bit tankier, because they might just try to kill her. And I'm not sure if her role, she's gonna want to be tanky. She's also gonna want to have enough damage. She's gonna want some effectiveness as well. Maybe we could always soul burn the skill 3, but if we want to land like targets, we'll see. She needs a lot on her kit, and I'm not sure if her spot will justify a full roll, but I bet you she'll be fun, and we can come up with some really cool combos. I'm already thinking of who I want to put in the front to protect and support. I love this kind of unit. Even if she's not going to be a meta breaker, I think she'll be super fun and very, very interesting. So here's the artifact, guys. It'll always increase the effectiveness by 25%, called Sharpshooter's Handgun, and a critical hit gives herself speed up. This is a ranger exclusive artifact. Okay. Yeah, since it's a free artifact that we're going to be able to plus 30 for free, it's not, it's not as interesting as the other 2 we discussed, but maybe has some potential, especially for her. We'll get ourselves some more speed up. especially anytime we just skill one. So yeah, maybe we'll take a lot of turns and be able to provide like multiple target downs on units. Could be cool. Overall though, it's free, can't complain. It's kind of like a built-in, since she has targets like Song of Stars, but we also get to give ourselves speed up, so we'll see. Looks good. Remember, she also gets a lot of crit chance imprint, so very nice, guys. I can't wait to use her. Look at those bullets shooting into the mouse. And yeah, guys, I think we'll wrap up this part of the video here. All 3 units, guys. I'm super hyped. If you weren't saving bookmarks, guys, they're coming out already next week. First up is Edward. I think Roy will be a week or 2 after. So make sure you guys start shop refreshing now and get ready. You're going to want to pull both Roy and Edward, and Riza you'll get for free. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Watch the ML Pavel, Commander Pavel video next.